Hi, this is Alan Donald with Keller Williams Realty. This month we're going to talk about earnest money, one of the issues that brings the most questions, especially from first-time home buyers. To this effect, I have invited Cynthia Partrick, our buyer specialist, to talk about earnest money with us.
Earnest money deposit is an upfront bona fide amount that a buyer is willing to commit to show the seller that the buyer is serious. In other words, earnest in the buyer's intention to purchase the house. While both the earnest money and the down payment contribute to the purchase price of the house, the earnest money is security for the seller, while the down payment is the buyer's contribution of the purchase price. Typically, any offer includes earnest money, and the funds need to be deposited into an escrow account 48 hours after the contract is ratified, which means signed by and delivered to both parties. Also, the customs around earnest money vary from state to state, which makes it essential for buyers to work with a local realtor. Although it is a deposit, the earnest money funds will be drawn from the buyer's account immediately, and the buyer may not see them again for perhaps a few months. 3 different things can happen with the earnest money. 1, if you go ahead and purchase the home, then it'll become part of your down payment. 2, if you walk away from the contract and the purchase with cause, such as during your due diligence period or through unsatisfied contingencies of the contract, you get to keep your earnest money as the buyer. The third situation is if you walk away without cause. Say you see another home you like, or you just decide not to go through the contract. The seller gets to keep your earnest money in that situation as compensation for taking their property off the market. However, if there's a dispute between the parties over who gets the earnest money, then the escrow agent will take it to a judge to decide. Well, it can vary. Typically, as buyer agents, we suggest anywhere between 1% and 5% of the purchase price, but it really depends on the kind of market you're in and the situation you're in with the seller. If it's a situation where you are competing against a number of different offers and you've both put the same purchase price, it would definitely be smarter to put in a higher earnest money deposit, maybe more on the 5% side. That way it shows the seller that you are much more serious and you've really put some skin in the game. To the seller, that message would show, hey, these people want this home a lot more than maybe the other people who put in the same purchase price but not as much earnest money. Escrow agents will accept earnest money deposits from buyers in a number of different forms, including personal checks, cashier checks, money orders, cash, which is the least desirable, as well as wire transfers. With wire transfers, we really encourage buyers to verify the account information ahead of time to prevent potential wire fraud. Buyers can absolutely lose their earnest money. Otherwise, what's the point in having it? There are 4 different ways that a buyer can lose their earnest money. 1, if you violate the terms of the contract, whether it be in regard to financing or due diligence timelines. 2, if you decide to walk away, get cold feet. 3, say you find another property you like more and you go in that direction. Or 4, say you love a property and you put down a non-refundable deposit, earnest money deposit, in order to show the seller you're serious and then change your mind. One of the main functions of a buyer specialist is to protect the earnest money of our clients and to make sure that they understand the obligations of the contract so that they don't unknowingly violate the contract and lose their earnest money. My name is Cynthia and I'm a buyer specialist. I do this every day with my clients. I'd be happy to do the same with you. Call, text, email me. My phone number is 843-900-0155 and we'll set up a time to get together, talk about the process, and get you prepared for the next step.
I hope you have enjoyed our discussion about earnest money. If you have any additional questions, please give us a call or send us an email. If you want to learn about more topics related to real estate, please follow our YouTube channel below. This is Alan, and until the next one.